Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at the portrait brushes, and this is one of my favorite bundles. It's become the bestseller in my Etsy shop, and I absolutely love what they do. They're vital. I use them every single time I do a portrait session, and I still love them. So I'm really glad to see people are getting a lot of value out of it. But I wanted to show you what they can do and how they work and how you can layer brushes and make them more subtle and just show you how you can play around with them and really take the photos up to the next level. So we're looking at three photos here. This is Kim, this is Akila, and this is Michelle. And we're just going to quickly run through how some of these brushes can help these portraits, just give them that little extra oomph so that when you deliver photos to clients, they are super, super happy. And these photos have already had all the settings adjusted as far as develop presets go. So the brushes really come on after you've had kind of that style and all your basic editing done. And then the brushes are that final finesse that you add to them just to give them that extra pop. So we're going to start over here with Kim. She's gorgeous, has these great eyes. And what I always start with, my first brush on portraits is always the skin softening brush. So we're going to start with that one. And down here you have the size, feathering, flow, and density. And the flow is great because you adjust it to basically say how heavy that brush is going to be. If it's at 100%, it will reflect 100% of what these sliders are. If you lower the flow, it's going to soften that effect. So this is really great to get more control. And for portraits, I always recommend a lighter flow because you can layer brush effects on top of each other to slowly work up to what you want. Now today, I'm going to go a little bit faster, so I'm not going to be layering as much, but you'll get to see how some of those layers work, especially when we get to the eyes. So I'm going to have the skin softening in the low 80s. I don't want it to be at 100%, but I don't want it to be too light either. And we're going to basically get a bigger brush, so that's a pretty good size, and just do a broad sweep all over the face. And this is really great for that initial just softening everything up. It kind of sets the groundwork for what you would or would not need to do to finish up the portrait, what other brushes you might need to implement. So you can see literally just did a sweep right there, and I always like to extend the skin softening brush down to the collar, the neck, and the chest area because that skin also shows the same unevenness, the same kind of sun damage or any kind of little wrinkles or any little freckles and stuff. A lot of times those extend to the neck and the chest and the collar area. So those need a little bit of softening as well. Otherwise, you're going to have a very smooth looking face, and from the neck down, it's going to just not pair up. It's not going to match. So we soften everything. Just applied that one brush, and I want to look at the before and after. One brush, and already the skin looks healthier and brighter and smoother with that one brush. So that is hands down my favorite tool, my favorite brush. I'm so excited about that one. So always start with the skin softening. I do see there's a little bit more of the little fine lines around the eyes, so I'm going to do a touch more as a new brush, a second one. I'm going to leave everything as is and just make the brush a little smaller because I'm covering a smaller area, and just do another sweep here and another sweep there. Now those lines are still there. I don't want to erase wrinkles, erase those little laugh lines, the little crow's feet. I don't want to erase any of that. That is who they are. What I want to do is just soften it so that all of those characteristics are still there. They're just not the first thing you see because that's not who this person is. I want the eyes to pop more. I don't want people to be drawn to any sort of uneven tones in the skin or any little wrinkles. So we want to draw attention away, but we're not erasing any of that. That's very important. Okay, let's really quickly look at some of the eye brushes. And for this one, let's do the brighten. And I'm going to tone the flow down a little bit because I don't want it to be too dramatic. and the brush a little bit smaller. There we go. And you can see these are subtle changes. We're not looking to make any big, huge, dramatic change. So that's a little bit brighter. And let's do one more to bring out her gorgeous green eyes. And we're going to pump this one up to 100 because she's got beautiful eyes, but they really are kind of hidden in shadow. So we're going to try and bring those out. And the enhance brushes for the different color of eyes really just they bring out certain color tones. So that's why there are different brushes for different color of eyes. So let's take a really quick look at the before and after. Now we've applied skin softening, eye brightening, and green eye enhancement. That is it. Super basic, quick, but look at that difference that it makes from before to after. This is just with the brushes. Let's move on to this one. This is Akila. She's gorgeous, loves the camera loves her. She's at that age where she can't really control that she's got a lot of little bumps on her skin. And so we're going to help her along with that. We're going to help even some of that out. So again, start with the skin softening, hands down my favorite one. Bigger brush, we're going to do a big sweep. And we're going to keep this a little bit higher. We'll do it at about 90 or so. And we're going to do just a broad sweep on the face to even everything out a little bit. And you can see it's a subtle effect, but you can see it already improving all those little bumps and little redness spots. Okay, there we go. And of course down to the neck and the collar. So again, let's look at the before and after with that one brush. Already, I could hand that finished product over to a client and they'd be happy with it. Let's do one more brush and we'll do for the eyes. So, okay, let's do the eye brightening again because there's a fair amount of shadow on her eyes. We're going to bring this down a touch. I don't want it to be super dramatic. Okay, and we're just going to brighten those eyes. There we go. So again, before and after, I'm already happy with that. Now, in her case, I see her lips are a little bit dry, so I would probably do a little bit of work on the lips, maybe using, I think first I would do the even tone skin one, and I would put it up a little bit higher and just even that out a little bit so that the dry spots on her lips don't jump out quite so much. And then do a new brush. And let's do the shiny lips. And that's probably stronger than I would want, which is why it's got such a strong effect. So let's undo that one. Bring that down to high 80s. And now let's apply it. A little bit better. Oops. Did not mean to move that one. Okay. So there we go. Before, after, gorgeous. And we used skin softening, eye brightening, and we did a little bit of work on the lips with the even tone and the shiny lips makeup brush. Super quick, super easy, big impact. Last one, again, we're going to start with the skin softening brush, my favorite. We can do this one about 85 or so, and we'll make the brush bigger, do a broad sweep. There we go. And the great thing about these is that if you're finding that, for example, you're losing a little bit more than you want to lose, you delete this brush and then you go over, you adjust your flow, and you make it more subtle. And you can still get a similar effect, just not as strong. It's a lot softer. So there we go. just with a softened skin tone brush, that's what you get. Big impact, one brush. Let's do a little bit on the eyes because there's a fair amount of shadow on her eyes. It was very overcast that day. So let's do the brightening brush. We're going to make that a bit smaller, a little more subtle. You can already see brighter. It's bringing out some of those shadows. Let's do one more brush. She's got these gorgeous hazel eyes, so we'll do the Enhanced Brown Eyes brush. And just where the color is, there we go. So we've used the skin softening brush, we've used the eye brightening brush, and we've used the Enhanced Brown Eyes brush. And before and after, worlds apart with just that little bit of finessing. So there you go. I hope that these brushes are a great tool for you guys. Thank you so much for playing along while we do these edits, and I will see you all next time.